They're going to need a lot more than that now coming onto Overpass. We'll have a knife round ready to play out. No, I believe Falcons have already won that, actually, so they will have the choice of sides. And I mean, it's Overpass. You presume they're going to go CT, right?
They have to. Surely they have to. I mean, I no longer put anything past the series. We could do just about anything, but they are going to take the sensible decision. They are going to take the sensible decision, and they will be starting the CT side of Overpass. And, well, for Entropiq, it feels like they need an early momentum builder here, a clean pistol, an opportunity to take some rounds. Hopefully production will give us a HUD refresh in a second, because there's no way Masuta is fountained quite that quickly. And there we go, a more realistic picture emerges as we settle into the early round, and it's a slow one from Entropiq.
Indeed, very slow. Most of the focus as well being over towards the B side of the map right now, which might be the correct decision, considering you've got a 3-man bathroom stack over towards A right there. So we'll see. The push, though, from Python is a good response to the fact that this push is already beginning to come out through Monster. Lets them tuck in behind the sandbags, be a massive nuisance to those players trying to take the bomb site, and the quick rotation down connector is perfect to cut off an Arquez. They have no room, really, I was going to say, to get the bomb down, but they did actually just stick it in behind the pillar, rather.
3 players charging out a monster won't be expected, however, and there's nothing Krad can do. Just too many bodies, not enough time. NBK gets 2. It's a disgusting fighting con that starts it all off, and it's Falcons who take themselves the pistol. And I think, worryingly for Entropiq, take it quite cleanly too.
Yeah, I mean, decent kind of initial working towards the bomb site. The problem was they lost that kill to Python, so he could just tuck in towards short. Then the extra rotation that was coming in through connector, initially worried about Python still being over towards short, of course, but then getting caught by 3 players sprinting down connector. There really wasn't too much that could be done about that one. We'll see whether Entropiq can come back and win out a force buy of their own and give Falcons a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, similar to what happened there on that previous map in the second half, where of course Entropiq won the pistol and then dropped it afterwards. Again, the rifle's not too bad for Entropiq with a few galils.
Definitely feels like they need something just to build confidence right towards the end of map 2. They were just losing gunfights left, right and centre. Couple rounds, a bit of build. Give them some confidence again would be very useful right now. Maka just jump spotting it, drops his smoke. That allows him to safely transition back to the site, as Entropiq are working their way up towards A. The problem they have is with 1 molly and 1 flash, they've really got no breathing room here, and over the top of the smoke, Masuta makes sure they can't breathe. 2 clean through the skull, as Krad will at least grab 1 back inside of the site. With the opening man advantage now their way, it should be relatively easy to hold on to. Forrester trying to make sure that's not the case, grabs a quick double, and will... Well, I was about to say, we'll get this bomb down, but Nickelback actually still has it on his back. He'll wait for the flanking Hadji and deal with him, and now start to work his way up to Python, who needs a very swift 1v2 here. Has managed to at least get out in towards the site itself, but he doesn't expect Nickelback, and you were just right, Dean. Entropiq managed to find the punch to respond.
I was saying, I wasn't super convinced that they would be able to, but very quickly I am shut up, and in terms of any sort of a response that comes back now from Falcons, it's at most some pistols and Kevlar. I was thinking they might have even decided to play for the kind of long game, but no. Having enough somehow for, or having a rifle rather on towards Mac, it makes it worthwhile. I think being dropped over to him there and then given it's easy and returned to Masuda. Here we go, a nice heading connector, decent damage. It's going to be a Mac 10 as well that can come in and try and just clean up some of these weaker players in a moment. Although Krad, I think, has made the right decision to not overextend themselves here. Fall back, let them come to him instead, and well, that's worked out pretty much perfectly, even getting that second kill onto Maka. The single rifle, the sole upgraded proper weapon in play, is going to be very quickly taken out before he can even dish any damage in their favor, and it's Hadji instead that has somehow managed to turn things around with a nice double kill from in on short. And he's got an AK.
It's a lot of damage done, and like you said, it's rifles potentially to be saved if they don't want to give this one a go. In a round that after that opening double from Krad, Entropiq would have been hoping to get out of cleanly. At least they've done damage, and I think doing damage will be where they draw the line here. Potentially another rifle for Python in towards short as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go fishing for it. Couple of rifles saved into the next, couple bits of Kevlar, couple of pistols they can drop to their teammates, and suddenly the next round's half buy doesn't look too shabby either.
Should be pretty decent, to be fair, as you said. I would imagine with pretty much zero investment behind it, though, I'm hoping it doesn't tempt them into putting too much into play, because they do need to actually get an eco and aim towards that initial gun round as well. Freestanding for Entropiq, they'll be pretty happy. Don't even want to hunt down those weapons, knowing that they kind of do need to stabilize their own economy in the early stages to ensure that if things do start to go south again, that they'll be able to keep on buying and hopefully not to let things spiral out of control, as kind of just happened back there on Mirage. Yeah, zero investment so far. The Deagle was given to Maka, as was the 5.7
just drop
NBK.
across. Yeah, exactly. Drop the pistols across, save the rifles. It's a solid look. Gives Falcons an opportunity here to do some more damage. Continue making these rounds expensive, which, well, Krad playing with fire here. Maka tucked in close, might be able to find an early pick. Inside Molotov's trying to flush them out, and they will finally find their opening. Maka does go down. The rifle's position, known as well, is quickly mopped up. And at this point, just about getting out of it cleanly, which Entropiq seem to be doing a very solid job of doing. NBK last up, down in towards B. Shouldn't be getting anything at all out of this round, and that's the stabilizer now for Entropiq. Of course, coming off the back of this, we will see the buy coming out from Falcons, so another opportunity for their CT side. Then NBK is put down just to start clicking again. Find the damage early. Don't allow that T-side economy to build up too much, because at 3-1, we've seen how it can happen on Mirage before Entropiq started walking backwards. It very quickly can go south.
Yeah, but we've seen this a couple times where Entropiq get the early lead and even make some of the rounds look pretty easy on top of building up an economy, yet it still ends up coming into a back and forth. So, looking to see how this plays out. That nade not catching Maka really, and it's just about avoid the damage. Doesn't really spot much in terms of people pushing forward, though. They're mostly focused around the playground for now, it seems. Falcons, on the other hand, want their aggression to be a bit more present around this B side of the map. An interesting double setup there towards the mini monster. Just about abandoning it now, I believe, just to keep this control, keep an eye on connector, and allow for what could, in theory, be a bit of a stack up towards that A-bomb site, but they haven't gone for it yet.
There's a shoulder peek for Masuta here, won't spot anything. A couple of bullets coming his way, however, will force him back. I don't think I've ever heard that called mini monster in my life, but
I always call it.
We'll take it.
Usually just mini, but maybe the first time I say it in a game, I'll say mini monster, because I know it's not a super common call out. It's monster? Mini monster. What do you call it?
Short.
Short. I'd call in there short with it. Crosshair was
That's Phoenix, bro. Hadji's in Phoenix, and he's got one. Python manages to nab a second as well before Nickelback can trade it. And that smoke will allow Hadji just to slink away. The wallbang won't connect on the 2 HP that he's got. And he will net the man advantage for Falcons. Entropiq now, with 30 seconds left, are pretty much dedicated to hitting this B bomb site. NBK from on high will provide overwatch. The problem is Hadji inside of the water. Yeah, 2 HP. A nade even remotely close to his location will deal with him. Anakez with the flashbang assist will deal with NBK. And suddenly Masuta and Maka, I mean, it's a nice idea with this flank from Connector, but realistically it leaves Masuta desperately isolated from Maka. And indeed, as he goes down, you see there's no trade potential whatsoever. Maka will have to slink away and hope that he's allowed to save that M4 as Entropiq, well, they're starting Overpass much like they started Mirage, Dean.
Yeah, it wasn't a promising ending back on Mirage, so they'll definitely be looking to rewrite that, but for now, the beginning's certainly looking promising. Maka should be fine to save here. He was hoping, I think, for another exit as someone to just kind of charge towards him, I guess, but that's obviously not going to happen. Mir was on a bit of a hunt from behind, but not too much pressure really on him right there to take that weapon away. They had 3 alive themselves, or 4 rather, so just wanting to save over what they can. couple pistols maybe around this M4, but it's likely going to be 5-1 for Entropiq. It will be heartbreaking if this is the way it ends, because I mean, I expected Mirage, if anything, to be the potentially more one-sided map. We thought Dust 2 or a Mirage rather could be the ones where that would happen, but and then Overpass maybe a bit more of a middle ground between the two, perhaps slightly leaning towards Entropiq, sure, but not massively. What is that? We're getting a weird, like, little blue tracer on his bum there. Anyone see that? It was like part of his skeleton is coming through.
That's where his teammate's aiming, isn't it? That's the box you get on the end of a crosshair. Yeah, you can see them floating.
I thought
around.
What is that? Where you can like draw the skeleton thing. It looked like part of that was on.
Yeah, we've turned X-ray on the official rule.
Players have it as well.
Oh, you can tell it's late into the evening, but Entropiq 4-1 up. An opportunity now to continue stabilising up against this half by good utility, good firepower across the board for the T side. And, well, the early HEs, it's a nice idea, but nothing doing for the CT side. And unfortunately for them, off the back of it, Forrester has just gone for a wander out B and suddenly realised that there's really nobody home. So at this point, it should be a freebie. Anarchist does go down, but the bomb will be planted over on B, and at this point, again, you'll probably see Hadji and Maka slink off the save. They've got armor, they've got a rifle. Could potentially grab that second as well, get 2 players with armor and rifles saving. That'd be really solid. And then maybe send a couple players into hunt, but it looks like they're actually just happy to save everything they've got.
I mean, why not? You've not got a ton to gain without the kit as well. The retake, the chances of anything coming from it would be bare minimum. Maybe they'd get a couple of kills, but you wouldn't be gaining weapons either, as you'd likely just end up losing the ones you already have in play. So definitely makes sense, even with not a lot for Hadji and Python in particular to carry over. You've got Kevlar and Hadji, at least they'll help him slightly towards buying up his rifle. And who knows, maybe that Deagle in the hands of Python will come in handy if he has to fall back to it at some point. Here we are, 5-1. I've never looked in here before. Never bothered. Only got about 9,000 hours on the game. Usually a bit busy running out of here. Sometimes running past this trying to avoid a wall bang. Haven't seen that in a long time, actually.
The value of it is fairly minimal.
Yeah.
The odds of landing it even further so.
Used to be tried a lot, though.
I mean, I used to give it a go. Didn't even know the lineup, but still throw it out there.
That's definitely a waste of time.
Wasting no time, however. Our Entropiq early nade stack onto the jump peak. Nothing caught. Couple of players out Fountain to see if they can find something. Leading out the utility early on from the CT side as well, as Anarchist just having a wander in towards the playground, seeing if there's anything to be given up before his teammates join. Opening 40 seconds, relatively calm to start things off here. They'll just start to work their way around the fountain. It's a very passive setup from the Falcons, you do have to say. Suter and Mac are boosting towards the map, which is deep inside of the site itself, so no protection before that point. And it leaves them a little vulnerable to long as well. It's a nice idea. It gives them an off angle into the connector. Some well-placed utility could do a world of hurt here, and indeed, as that smoke comes into long, they'll have to disassemble. And then look to reassemble it, but with a long leaning push. Comes the hit,
nice
the short Molotov. Beautifully timed there, 25 seconds left. It'll buy the third rotation down as well. This is going to be a slaughter. Surely the flashes are brilliant. Nickelback stuck. 18 seconds left. More bodies flooding into this lower site. Nickelback gets one to start things off, but it's Python with a quick double to keep it competitive, and still inside of the water. Hadji getting work done. It's Anarchist alone on the site, and there's nothing he could even dream of doing out of there. One beautifully timed Molotov, locking them out of absolutely everything. And it's Falcons starting their CT comeback.
Yeah, I mean, solid hold, but I don't think it's going to be too often that Entropiq are going to leave it down to a 5-on-5 push with 19 seconds, I think, as they were moving out of Monster itself, and then they were slowed by nades as well. So I think Entropiq kind of shot themselves in the feet right there, leaving us so late, not really having any sort of presence or control. They had obviously tried to at least run down some of the utility from Falcons, but other than that, they had really no idea of what they were moving into on towards that bomb site. Turned out to be a little bit too much to handle, as we've seen. And Falcons, though, this time actually chained their rounds together, and they avoid immediately being returned on. And well, a double-man charge out through short is a good idea.
Oh.
It looked like maybe Forrester had some hope of coming away with a kill potentially, but the flash just blinds him to bits. And well, if an attempt here from Krad is made from Connector, he's in trouble as well with 2 players ready on short for the fight.
That flash blinded just about everyone. Both players on short, fully dabbing as they get the kill. Little bit of an unfortunate one, but Falcons will take everything they're given. As for now, Entropiq are bypassing their A setup. They've gone for a double long play. Very least opens up a fast flanking opportunity, and Maka is going to get that exact opportunity. Nickelback shoulder spotted, dealt with. As again, Entropiq just being picked off piecemeal before they can get to the site itself. Information now there as well. Flashes over the top. Utility to try and flush this fight out, but NBK having none of it. Buys more time. The smokes go down to allow Maka to transition into the site itself. Anakes looking for the miracle shot. Does land one, but now his teammate's in trouble. Mir goes down. Hadji swings before the molly can drop. Falcons have a third. The money will continue to support the buys of Entropiq. Will they start getting flashbacks towards that second map where things went oh so wrong? Because it's starting to feel that way again.
Yeah, it was a pretty similar scoreline. I think they managed to grind it up towards 7 before they really stopped getting anything done on the previous map, but we'll see. Falcons sure taking a couple rounds in a row, doing it relatively clean with 3 standing as well in both of them, but they haven't built up too much of an economy for themselves either after having to put some reinvestment in here. But there's definitely still the chance for Entropiq to come back through and get some more rounds for themselves, and I'd say being on the T side of Overpass, you're not looking for quite as much as you were on Mirage. 6 or 7 is really good.
They were already well on their way to that figure.
Nickelback got wrecked early on, though.
He's Bogdaned himself an AWP, so he's not in an awful spot here. And, well, he's got Masuta baited into the wide swing as now the A site in a lot of trouble. And it is Maka currently up here solo on the AWP. He's absolutely trapped into Optimus. Blinded up as well. He's trying to peer over the smoke, seeing if maybe there's an angle to work with. He's bought time. The support has now joined him inside of this site, and Anakes is going for a very audacious plant. He'll get it down, and his teammates will just about manage to back him up into it. That felt desperately dangerous, but it's left NBK and Hadji to try and recover what is surely an impossible situation. They've at the very least read the flank. Nickelback posted out towards Long, has got a teammate behind him to back him up, and Mir in that exact spot should get a freebie if his teammate goes down. The full HP of Forrester in the perfect afterplant position. Hadji does get the first, taps it, looks for the full stick here, but Mir's tapped him out from Long, not quite covered by NBK. And there's the 6th round that Entropiq needed.
Just edging it out. As I had said, they had lived with 3 players 2 rounds in a row, but still a little bit of weakness in there on towards NBK. Hadji can just about scrape out an M4 and body armor, so they'll definitely go for the buy as you would expect. But it's everything into this. It means if Entropiq can get their 7th round now, it comes with a guaranteed win of the half, pretty much, with at least 8 rounds going on the board, and who knows how much more could still be added onto the scoreboard afterwards as well. So really is here that Falcons have to try and again get back into their winning ways. We're not seeing the same crazy levels of aggression as we had a couple of gun rounds back either.
How that nade didn't hit is anyone's guess. You're right, it's a little more reserved. They are playing a slightly more traditional overpass now as Forrester opens up onto Python through the fading smoke. Maka initially set on the angle towards Fountain and then working his way down from there. Krad spots the shoulder of Hadji, and on that right eye peak will grab another. Kill out of Monster. Well, 2 kills out of Monster, 1 kill out of Short, and suddenly this round starts to fall to bits. Maka and Masuta to try and steady it, but that timing is awful. That one feels like revenge for Mirage for sure. As Masuta is left with a 1v5, he finds the first. Of course, his position now known. The body's looking to swarm Forrester looking to make sure there's nothing left at the end of this one. The bomb will double all the way back to B, just to be as safe as it possibly can be. Masuta might catch a bit of a gap here. They've got two AWPs holding this. Krad from one end, Anarkez from the other, and as Anarkez goes down, it does get a little ugly, but Krad puts it to bed before it becomes too much. It's a harsh reset on the CT economy, a 7th round on the T side of Overpass for Entropiq, and, well, this time it doesn't feel like Falcons are going to get the let-off they did on Mirage.
No, not quite yet. Anyway, they'll need to crack through and somehow again break Entropiq down before they even get another chance at it, and I just don't think Entropiq are going to let themselves to allow things to slip away, really, as they did in that previous map. You had the slight comfort of knowing at the very least there was a third map ahead of you, so even if it wasn't consciously, they might have become a little bit too lax towards the end, and I think that's kind of what played out. That's not happening now. Krad with an amazing double kill already, catching that boost up in connector. That was pretty much the only weaponry they had to work with as well. The nades softened them up, and he just gave himself an easy time then cleaning it up. They might even have a shot catching this boost here as well on short. A little bit too late on the push in, but there should be at least one kill to go his way, and there you have it. Easy time for Forrest there, a 5-on-2, make that a 5-on-1 with a completely open A-bomb site. Bomb's miles away though.
Guaranteed lead in the half should be coming their way. Should be coming their way relatively cleanly, as well as just the remaining pistol of Python to work with, and Forrester's not having any of it. All 5 players kept up. Feels like we're potentially on for a big scoring half here for Entropiq. Falcons need to start putting a stop to this. The economy's well built. They're finding a lot of success. The buy will come in. It's a little strained towards Masuta, but otherwise solid. The problem is Falcons have tried everything. They've gone aggressive, they've played passive, and isolated rounds again has been all they've managed to string together. Most they've got on a streak is 2, and they need a lot more than that. Oh, nearly assembled the boost in time as well to pick off the man. Couldn't quite land it, Anarkez, and that will give some map control to the CT side.
He's slow and methodical right now and just taking his map control. Oh, a little bit of a spam on Nickelback. Actually, I don't even think he spotted Python really too much up here on the boost. So low health there on Nickelback. Either way, as I was saying, they had put down a decent molly on short to get themselves that control and haven't really fully taken it, which I think has been noted by the peak here from Falcons as well.
They've got an idea with a minute left on the clock, and there's good control taken. Masuta's still pushed up in the bathrooms as well. They've got a really solid setup to repel this offensive. The AWP of Maka well placed to deal with the long control. Smoke goes down to buy more time with 45 seconds on the clock, and it starts to look ugly. There's 3 kills to be got to get into this A site. Rotation down might be a little awkwardly timed for NBK, as it does just leave Masuta and Maka, but he'll rejoin before the fun really gets started. Here we go. Maka to flash himself into long. They're not quite peaking for that just yet. 25 seconds as now they look to pounce, and Maka's going to have a freebie before they do. Anarkez goes down first. Now Masuta on the backstab finds another. Nickelback has dealt with at the very least NBK, but now they know there's a snake in the grass. Forrest has to turn. It buys more time as he clears his back. And it buys even more surely for Maka, who just doesn't expect Forrester to swing that way. The bomb goes down and all the gun pokes through the wall. Forrester takes full advantage of the glitch. And Hadji, well, he has to resign himself to saving. Oh, Valve. We love you and we love to hate you. Hadji will try and hold on to this M4. They have hunted him a little early here, but he's going to try and escape regardless, and Forrester should be able to catch him as he drops on out. Indeed, a 9th on the board. The economy starts to buckle again, and Entropiq are storming their way to a dominant T side on Overpass.
9-3, I was hoping for more of a competitive map to end things out. It is unfortunate, after a couple of 16-13s in a row as well.
Always the way.
Look at this. I mean, half buy only in fairness, although Maka goes pretty heavy in. He's going to need a few kills with that, as does Masuta. So really, they will not have what they need to buy in this next round unless they can ensure at least a few kills each. especially on these weaker players now in terms of the economy. So let's see, Maka forward alongside the FAMAS, so they're at least trying something with this heavy investment that they've put in. Entropiq haven't realized that there's a few more weapons than they were kind of counting on there as they were pushing up through mid. So they've decided instead to just slow things down, reassess the situation, and try and find out what exactly Falcons are up to.
It's a nice idea to start things off from the CT side. The problem is, what do they do with it? They've left NBK posted close, just to act as an alarm for anything suspicious occurring, but over the boost, Entropiq have found their start. Python goes down early, and now, even with the stack, it's only 3 players down into this lower site, and, well, they're not even going to be touched. Instead, they back away. They go up towards upper. NBK, he's on a flank, but you have to question how much impact the MP9 can really get. The bomb is going to go down regardless. With his teammates only just now joining him in short, you wonder if they'd be best off just saving what they've got for the next, because already there's multiple bodies watching for this. NBK, however, cares not how many there are. He still finds one before he goes down. Anakez's next up to hold the line. He has support. Suta does find a kill, but very quickly the scales are tipped back in Entropiq's favor. That molly clicking onto Maka will be his demise as well. That's double digits on the T side. The T side of Overpass, no less, for Entropiq. And this one, well, we've had a banger of a series so far, Dean. We've had 2 incredible maps. This one feels like it might be a little more shallow.
Yeah, and it's just not slowing down, really, is it? In fairness to Falcons, again, that wasn't the full buy for them, but they have just been stuck bouncing back and forth between the weaker investments and the full gun rounds. And a few times, honestly, they've made those weaker investments look a little bit closer in terms of taking risks and actually finding something to work with early on in the rounds, especially. Sadly, that boost doesn't have anything to come of it this time around. Instead, it might actually be a bit of an issue for them as the monster aggression is coming through. They still had Forrester watching for it, though. Sprays down 2 of them. There will be a single return back in mid, but now they're pushing through heavy, trying to get control of that bomb, but they have no idea that Mir had already crossed through the playground.
They've got the bomb. The problem is they're a man down with it. NBK just retreating away from this B site, trying to give himself a new angle. If he can catch a timing onto one of these picks, it could be everything, but Forrester deals with him, and now they know it's just Maka. They know where he was last seen. They know if they group as 3, there's very little he can do to stop it, so they'll do exactly that. Still a minute on the clock. Still plenty of utility to plan out this execute as well. Maka's going to go roaming. See if maybe he can catch a timing onto a kill. Might be able to catch the back of Mir if he works his way down into that bomb. Should get at least 1, but it's a whiffy old shot, and Mir will put him down for it. 11 on the board. The buy's just not clicking, like you said. Just nothing working. Entropiq just storming their way through this first half of Overpass.
Yeah, very quick rounds as well in comparison to what was a much slower, I feel like, rounds being played out on Mirage, especially, where they love the slow defaults. 3 FAMASs, 2 M4s, barely any nades. Are they going to go for the boost again? Let's see, anyone going to be peeking in from heaven this time? Yeah, maybe. Unfortunately, he doesn't stick around long enough to find out. You don't want to give up all the map control for that peak, in fairness, so you don't want to stick to it for more than just a couple of seconds. Mir does spot that they are being aggressed on long as well. Are they aware that Maka's up close already, though? This is definitely going to catch them, but no, Mir, he is there to cover off his teammate. The FAMAS Masuta is only good for 1, and with that, I think NBK has to bail.
Has to think about it, surely, because he's lost his teammates out B. In the meanwhile, he's alone. Tries to get something going. He finds 1, but very quickly put down. 12-3 dominance from Entropiq as we head to the break. Well, that was a half I don't think either of us were expecting to see after a dismal Mirage. Entropiq come out firing on all cylinders. One pistol, two rifles, all that Falcons were able to string together as a 12-3 landslide went through. And at this point for Falcons, the pistol, well, it's essential if they're going to have any chance of bringing it back on map 3. And that's one way to start it. Python with an early pick onto the Julies of Nickelback, however, and with Forrester joining him in support, the lines are well ran and the frags are well found. 2 on 3. The bomb dropped outside a monster for Maka and Hadji. It's an awkward crossfire for them to try and break as well. The CTs, no need to commit to it. They've got all of their angles on locked in.
Just got to make sure they take the fights together, really, and there shouldn't be too much opportunity to be given away. That's really all Falcons are going to be relying on right now, a mistake being made. But they do have a ton of time to work around and potentially send Maka in from behind Heaven, it looks like. He's not going to be quiet about the initial run up here, but I don't think he's been heard, or maybe he wanted to be heard.
I mean, if it was a fake, it's spectacularly failed.
Yeah.
Because the CT side are not budging. I was hoping, same as you, that he'd go back round Heaven and maybe you'd find a way to, you know, grab someone who's looking the wrong way. But even then, you could see Forrester around the pillar is periodically checking towards Heaven. It is going to be the monster pop, and, well, it's going to be the monster meat grinder very shortly. Nickelback is here. Nickelback is waiting for it. It's actually Forrester who gets both of them, but they won't care where they come from. 13-3. Entropiq just 3 rounds away, and by denying the bomb plant as well, it puts Falcons in this horrendous position. If they get that bomb down, they can arguably have better rifles than Entropiq, but without that plant, you end up in this halfway house where any force you do is horrendous. So they're going to take the pause and try and work out what to do, because the best force they can pull out here is Mac 10s and some Kevlar, or if they want to go for full head armor, wary of the MP9s and the M4s that will do so much damage without it, then you're looking at Deagles and Tech 9s, and it's just not a good look.
No. I mean, even when the full buy rounds in the first half are a struggle for them, you don't think the pistols are going to go too much better. Smoke and a flash is all that Maka buys up. He actually will fully invest then into the Tech 9 and Kevlar, so I would imagine that they're all going in for this. It just means if it doesn't work, they're already down 14-3 at that point. Do you consider the eco? To play for the overtime, or do you just force it? I mean, force buys are just... It's the more likely thing to happen from this point out now. If Falcons rather don't manage to win one of them, then they probably won't see another full gun round. Big smoke, I believe, towards bathrooms. Actually, to block off the Guardian angle, so that will make things a little bit easier in terms of closing in the distance with those pistols.
Trying to get up close and personal, understandable. The Deagle, the mini shotgun, the Tech. Lethal on those drive-bys, and with Mir playing a tight angle to this smoke. Definitely opportunity, a good flashbang through, and yeah, Masuta takes full advantage for the first. Nikas is able to trade, but he knows he's got to be careful now. He has to stay alive, has to buy time for the support to come in, and he continues to find damage. Maka, even with the recovered FAMAS, can't get anything. And NBK, well, tagged up in an opening exchange out towards Long on 11 HP. The force buy has been gutted by Entropiq. And at this point, kill, a couple, make it a little bit more expensive perhaps, but you're not looking at anything else, and your force buy into the next isn't going to be any better than this one.
No, maybe by the tiniest of margins with a few extra nades or something behind it, but in terms of actual firepower, there's no real difference being made. It's unfortunate. It looked like maybe there was some promise after the initial kill from Masuta there around the stairs. Forget who exactly it was. He caught out of position, Krad, I believe, but either way, it's an Arquez who just does a great job at recovering it with that MP9, and that has also funded his op to come straight out into this initial gun round of the half. So, yeah, not looking good for Falcons to say the least. Sorry, they actually got a couple of Galil. That's actually not too bad. More than I was expecting.
Yeah, the problem is coming up against that AWP into this one. A little bit of a bonus round actually called, and you can't really blame Entropiq. They've got such a buffer here that taking a few MP9s into this one in the hopes that up close and personal on the B site, largely, in fact on the B site entirely, they can just barrel stuff a couple kills and give the rifle and the AWP something to work with. You can't blame them for it. Question is, how much will they be able to get done with this? As Falcons queuing up outside Monster and Short respectively, it will be this hit. Boost, the off boost, actually spots out one, tags him in the back a few times, but the B charge is coming in whether they like it or not. 3 players out of Monster, tags coming in across the board. MP9's flashed in well, will get an opening. Nickelback now has to switch to the Julies and will get punished for it, but the rifle's swarming in. The MP9's there to buy them the space exactly as written. And Maka, well, he just doesn't expect the flank in amongst the chaos. Mir gets the kill. Sure, they lose 3 players, but they lose the 3 MP9s. It's really nothing for them to be concerned about. They'll be full buying into this round. And again, without that bomb plant, there's just not money for the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, even for the players that they lost, they were mostly scrapping it out and getting some kills themselves with those weaker weapons as well. So, as you said, making it worthwhile either way. And no bomb plant. It's slightly better than the previous one, so they're kind of bumping up a slight notch each time. But again, it's just Galils this time. There's at least helmets behind them onto all of the players this time around, and a few nades. Unfortunately, a big portion of that utility already taken out of play there as that initial kill comes in. And Arquez, though, not landing the upshot when it really should have been an easy one. Pretty straightforward. He repeats in instead to snatch the kill on NBK. And just about manages to fall back here before it becomes an issue after his teammate goes down as well.
Caught time by the rifles, and well, Krad takes full advantage. Maka will be able to grab one. Keeps it at the very least competitive, and with Hadji actually taking down the Monster Lurk, it buys them the advantage here. Anarkez, desperately low on HP, will go down as he tries to swing it. Forrester will be left in the 1v2. No real info. He knows Hadji was last seen outside Monster. He knows Maka's working his way somewhere long. Question is, can he thread the needle? He finds the first. Now, no info. Did he spot the head there? There was just a glimpse of an angle on Hadji in towards the fountain, and I think Forrester may well have spotted it. Seems to think the play is down towards B, however, and for now, Maka or Hadji. I was about to say for now he's not going there, but he has just worked his way down com in towards Monster, and as he sneaks out, Forrester will reposition. A little bit of utility on the CT man as well if he wants to get out here. Hadji will switch to the better rifle. Timing on this is everything. Forrester starts to think he smells a rat, but he hears a footstep. Hears just enough. Hadji looks to nail the bomb down.
Bomb has been planted.
Clean plant. Hear the footsteps of each other. They know exactly where both are, and Hadji clutches it up with 22 HP left. The first of 12 required if Falcons are going to make anything of this. It's an economy breaker for the CT side, to be fair. They will be able to scramble the force buy together. But it's an opportunity now for Falcons to start to make something of this series.
It might be a bit late, maybe, but who knows? I mean, as I said, we've seen Entropiq pull off ridiculous comebacks the other day versus Sprout. I don't know if they're going to be willing to let Falcons pull one off on them, though. One more round, I mean, it seems almost inevitable, but we'll take it one at a time and see where this goes. The buy, obviously not perfect for Entropiq, but you've still got an op, an M4, and some 5.7s in there as well. And Arquez, see if his patience will pay off. Just hops off the angle as the peak begins to come true. Unfortunately, as he gets spotted as well, but it's Mir who's still close, waiting for the bait, but it didn't work. There was assistance there, unfortunately, for NBK. Suda is the one to take the initial frag now, on top of a tiny bit of damage on an Arquez, but more importantly, just forcing them all the way back pretty much to the bomb site with no idea of what sort of map control has now been taken from them.
It was a solid idea. The execution just not quite able to match. At this point, as you said, no real info. Heavy lean up towards the A site, leaving Nickelback cutting a lonely figure down on B. Forrester is just starting to think about the rotation back as Anarkez has pushed through the front bathroom, so there will be at least a bit of resistance as the charge comes in, but there's a lot of presence in towards this short area. Forrester gets one, blinded just about everyone with the flashbang there. There are rotations. Maka next to be tagged down low, but the kills are going against them. Forrester trying to make something of it, can only find one, and it's Anarkez. 1v2, a missed shot gives them room to breathe, but he goes back for more, and on 12 HP, Anarkez has bought himself a clutch. 20 seconds on the clock as well, and that bomb is in an awful spot. Masuta will be able to recover it. Anakez, is that bomb going down? Looks to reposition himself. Swings very wide on it, and that will be his undoing. Masuta able to clean up house. 5 on the board. 10 more required. It was expensive for Falcons, but up against the force buy of Entropiq, they will not mind.
Yeah, but a full eco now comes in. Should be 6 pretty easily for Falcons, so hopefully they can take things at least cleanly, because as you said, the amount of damage for what they actually had there in that previous round was pretty substantial. Money on the brink here could impact potentially future buys for Falcons. As you can see, even a Mach 10 right now is never ideal. I like the idea, just throw in a crazy run boost. The timing even, just as they were coming out monster, was almost as perfect as it could be. Unfortunately, they just don't land the shots. Falcons were on point with all of the cleanup. And with that now, we are back onto the guns again. 9 more to go for Falcons. It's a bit of a way. Maybe 5 of those are actual gun rounds.
9 more to go. That's what they'll be saying themselves. Well, they'll just be going 1 round at a time, boys, but it is a long, old road. All buys up, though, and the AWP is in the hands of Maka and not in his opposition, so a little bit of a firepower advantage to work. NBK starts to slink his way through the connector up against Mir on the angle. Tough old fight. He does have Python to back him up, though, and these two have been playing well in tandem. The swing well timed, and 2 looking the wrong way. Surely not. Hadji able to wrestle back at least a kill, but that's the man advantage that Entropiq have been looking for, and they're looking to capitalize, finding the gaps. Anakez and then Krad with the straight wall bang. Maka left with the impossible task of collecting 4 more scalps to keep his team in this, to keep them from the lower brackets of playoffs. He knows where bodies are, but there is nothing he can do. It will be Entropiq. We thought they had it in 2. We thought Mirage would be their savior. It took them a little while longer than they thought they were going to need, but Overpass ultimately was their playground from start to finish, and Falcons just couldn't keep up across 3 maps.
No, but it was kind of surprising how the actual order of maps played out in itself. We were thinking Falcons looked like they should have had just 2 initially. I mean, they even had a good start, obviously let that slip away, but then they're like,